had only one question when I came, but now I have a question in the comments. So the first question is, now that I've moved to Music City, is it a cultural thing in our experience, Pentecostal persuasion, that the musicians and singers get paid? Because I've talked to pastors of other races and ethnicities where they have great musicianships who are professional musicians, recording artists, and they actually serve at their church on Sundays, and there's no compensation whatsoever. Now, as far as their job is recording, and they do everything at the church with no compensation, whether it's rehearsal, additional services, and I know they don't have the same persuasion. So that's my first question. Is it only cultural that we do that? Now, my comment is I don't know who said it, do you get paid on your job? But we have to be careful when we make comments like that, because we have people who serve in the church every day, all day, and then they go to a 9 to 5. For example, I'm going to use Brian Fenderson, a police officer, Deacon Buchanan, a police officer, and they'll provide security all day, all night at the church, no compensation, but they're trained in police enforcement. So we have to make sure we don't make those comments, because you can, discredit the people of God. We got people who can fry some good chicken, and they fry chicken every Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Don't get paid, go 9 to 5, but you come in because you have a talent that is seen. So we have to be careful with those comments.
Okay, hold on. Well, let me say this first.
It was me, though, Curtis. It was me. I said it.
Go ahead. I ain't worried about you. We on the same page.
It was me.
Here's the thing for me, and I'm going two ways with it. One, when you go to high school, college, they don't teach you how to play gospel music. That's number one. I'm going somewhere with this. The point is, it's like we playing both sides of the fence. Now you're saying, okay, we should not be compensated at the church. I'm not saying he directly saying it, but in so many words, that's what it's coming to, that we should sow into the church for free. But then we have a problem if we go play secular. So, pick a side. Like, you saying the musician in Nashville, they're recording musicians. I know they play a lot of country music, a lot of jazz, a lot of rock and pop, and they get union pay. They in a union. A scale pay. I know if I hire somebody to play strings on a song, they don't charge by the song, they charge by the hour. So they're reading music, and they're getting paid $150 an hour and probably play one song. So I'm really trying to understand that I'm responding to your comment as far as sewing.
Right, well, and then I want to say this. Was it a cultural thing? But I do understand there was a church that I grew up in that had professors who played the piano, who were at rehearsals, drummers, myself included. I played the drums as a little boy. My brother played the drums. On albums, rehearsals, got nothing but a chicken dinner and a God bless you, and we appreciated it. I'm talking about the church I came to was a big-sized church. The drums at the church were the drums that my mother bought for us, and we had to practice at the church. So I'm not saying that there shouldn't be no compensation, but where do we make the shift from like 1980 to like now 2019, where now everybody gets paid for coming into the door? When do we, I know we've sung, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but when do we say, you know what, not when you're at a visiting church, not when you're at higher church. If you come play for me, you're not a member, I'm hiring you. But when do we say, this is my pastor, I'm doing this as my service to the Lord and my pastor? Where do I sow my time, and not just, but who gave me the talent? Who allowed me to do this? I'm a preacher. You ain't got to pay me nothing. I'm going to say God bless you and pray for you. You ain't got to pay for that. I could go to school all day long. So I'm not saying compensation is not needed. What I'm saying is two things. Is it cultural? And if so, what do we need to do to change the culture? Should it be that way? And number two, we have to be careful of our mindset of how we speak about our gifts and talents. Because this brother may be talented in frying chicken. That don't make him no less than you, because you can play some keys. That's all I'm saying.
The key word you said, though, Pastor, is member. That's the key word. And I hate to use Pilgrim today, but 75% of the musicians that play today is not a part of Pilgrim.
Absolutely.
All right, why? Where are the Pilgrim musicians at? Why they're not playing? It has nothing to do with money.
Come on, Curtis.
They scared of Bishop. Y'all not scared of Bishop.
Let me just bust this in.
We're not scared of Bishop.
Let me answer his cultural question, okay?
Me too.
Just real quick, it is absolutely not cultural. As a matter of fact, just to let you know, 65% of my income comes from the white church. I go once a month, $1,200 a month, once a month. I make sure that the musicians have what they need. If I step in and say, get rid of that motif, get a Nord, it's there the next day. Get a 6-piece DW, it's there the next day. I have no problems at all. As a matter of fact, when I got ready to leave the church, Archbishop said, you better not leave, they pay you too good. And I didn't go. You know, I said, you need to reduce my hours. And they paid me the same amount, reduce hours. Completely white church. You know what I'm saying? Complete. And you know, I know
cultural.
we're watching. It's you get paid based off what you do. You feel what I'm saying? Now, when I do step in and play, the service is about 75 minutes long, if that. The music piece is 25 minutes long. You read charts. You have a pre-rehearsal. You read the charts. You play the charts. You can leave. They're going to preach and dismiss the service to some backing tracks. And you don't get reduced pay.
Amen. So I believe that it is a cultural thing. Because, and I'm going to play a couple of fields here. When I have served in a Caucasian church, whatever the case may be, I was treated differently. I was paid differently. And there are people, I know I have plenty of friends who serve at a multicultural church and don't get paid. But these are also friends who are in service for 90 minutes. They didn't have an extra rehearsal. They didn't have an extra engagement. They didn't have a BTU. They didn't have a this. They didn't have a that. And they were treated well. A lot of times in the black churches is y'all pay us, but y'all don't treat us good. You give us a check, but you don't speak to us. You give me a check, maybe, but you don't ask me if I'm okay. And then I go to this church, and Susan then brought me coffee. She brought me a donut. She gave me a Halls. She gave me this. She gave me a towel. She prayed with me. She wanted to know if my shoe needed to be tied. She took good care of me. So now anytime Susan calls me, I'll go. Even if Susan don't have the money because of how she treated me. But a lot of times I have turned down plenty of engagements and they had the money because they were nasty. I don't want your money. You keep your money. God will provide for me. It's a cultural thing. They treat people well. They do us right. When they say we're in at 9:30 and we're out at 10:30, I'm in my car at 10:32. I'm not waiting for the next song at 10:45. And I got my check at 9:31. They treat us well. So I believe it's based off how we're treated. It is a cultural thing. They appreciate the gifts and talents that people have. The problem in the black church is everybody feel like they more talented, so I don't need you. So I'm not going to appreciate the fact that you came and you did this and you did that because I can get somebody better to do it. But in another church, they appreciate the fact that you have taken time to take out student loans, go to school, learn your craft, do this, do that, and you study at home to be able to provide what's needed on a Sunday morning. A lot of people don't appreciate that. These musicians have gone to school. They are reading charts. They're reading music. I'm a part of a union house. So when I go into a studio session and they say, this is what needs to happen, I'm not paid. Well, it's 3 songs. Okay, well, if them 3 songs take 6 hours, my fee per my union is $150 an hour, whether you ever get a song done or not. But I went to school. I took out loans. I did what I had to do to study my craft to be able to provide what's needed in the church today. And the black church doesn't honor that. They want the person that learned up under the table because they want to pay us a certain kind of way, and it's not fair. Just like you got a family, we got a family. Just like you're a hairdresser, I'm a singer. You want to be paid for that extra braid. I want to be paid for my extra run. What's the problem?
I think some of this. You all hit some amazing points, all the questions, and we want to try to get these last few, just these last few. No more. Bishop said no.
We got to go. We got to raise the offering because we do have to pay the musicians. Not for today. Y'all ain't getting paid today. We didn't pay you today. We got to pay you for tonight. So we got to raise the offering so we can pay him. Okay. Can y'all give me 30 seconds? Is it a question or a statement?
It
Just
was
give it to
a
me real
question,
quick. Give it to us.
Because some people did already
Give it
touch
to us,
on
give it to us.
my question is, you get paid at the church. I'm talking to the musicians and the singers. What do you give to the church in your craft?
I tied to my church.
I'm not all of us tied and off. I'm talking about outside of that, as far as service.
If I'm a member of my church, I'm dedicated to my church. If I just work at the church, once again, I'm doing what I'm obligated to do and I'm out the door.
But honestly, most members that work at a church, they only come to do their work. I ain't never seen no musician that he ain't playing and he come in the Bible class. Now Curtis will come. That don't happen. They come in to play. Come on, real quick, 30 seconds.
I'm a musician as
And
well.
a
Two
pastor.
musicians, love y'all. Why is it that we have musicians that will try and charge a 100-member church the same thing they want to charge a 400 or 500-member church? And also at times they'll go and sit, and y'all know what I'm talking about, they'll sit second fiddle waiting to get in line to play for free. So why do we have musicians that do that?
It's a job. It doesn't matter how many members you have. If you play the organ, you got to pay. I don't care if it's 2 people, 10 people, 5 people. They playing. They using their skill. If you're using your skill to play, you got to pay. They don't care you ain't got no members. What they got to do with it?
And if you want them, you'll pay their rate. You know, if that's who you want, and they ask you for a certain price, that's what you'll pay.
And you have different musicians that play on certain rate levels.
Certain rate level, it don't matter. If you want them, and they say, hey, I need this is what I need to make it through the week. Come every week, be committed. You pay that rate.
What about the second fiddle piece?
Now the second fiddle piece, you got musicians that just chase opportunity and chase like hype. You know, that's the day we live in. I ain't go platform. You said platforms. You got musicians chasing hype 24/7. So I can't deny that at all. Like, yeah.
Thank God for my pastor. I mean, if the air is out at the church, they don't care you got 50 members. If they fix your
build their
air
resume.
conditioning,
Yeah, that's good.
You got to
They're
pay.
trying to build their resume. Yeah.
Okay, a different question.
Real quick.
Secular and spiritual. Are we prostituting our gifts? Those that are going into the secular world and giving your gift to that entity, and those that are in the spiritual. So if the church is not paying you what you want, and you go to the secular side to get what you want, are your gifts being prostituted?
Can I answer that?
Go for
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Are you married?
Yes.
What songs did you do at your wedding?
There you go.
I don't remember.
Exactly. So do you want a church musician to play your wedding, or do you want a specific band and singers that do wedding music?
Well, I got married only one time, but those that being singers and musicians, whatever, you do it for a lifestyle, for a living. But I only married, you know what I'm saying?
The point
for
I'm
that
bringing it
particular
up
day.
is wedding music is not gospel music. That's secular
not
music.
gospel music.
Okay.
It's the same thing. So we're not
So
prostituting.
when you go to the secular side, do you do it for the more money?
It's
a job.
Okay, last one, Bishop. This is our last one. We're going to pray. Please don't leave without sowing a seed. I forgot the offering yesterday. Put them buckets at that door and put them to their face. But I did learn something from you. Be nice to the people. I'm going to be nice. Sweetly, put slide it in front of you. No, I think you really help the pastors and the churches that we have to treat people better. We have to be nice to people. People will do more for you if you are kind and build relationships and don't take them for granted. Appreciate them. Celebrate them. Amen. Last one, Bishop Rocket.
Well, I only had church music at my wedding, but just to throw that out
You
there.
had church music in your bedroom at night?
I'm talking about at the
Preach.
wedding. And at the reception, I hired a DJ. So, but anyway, I think what has happened, I think we've lost integrity in the church. And I think it's come from both sides. I think there are pastors that are lacking in integrity, and I believe there are musicians that are lacking in integrity. And when I talk about integrity, I'm talking about doing exactly what you say you're going to do. I've heard horror stories on both sides. I've been a minister of music. I'm a pastor now. I've worked on both sides of this. If you're going to agree to pay someone something, you have to do what you say you're going to do. honor your agreement. On the flip side, if you say you're going to perform a certain level of service, perform that service. If you agree to come to a service at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning, be on time. We start on time, you show up on time. And at the end of the day, just because it's not a written agreement does not mean it's still not a contract. When you speak something out of your mouth, it's a verbal contract, and it can hold up in a court of law. So what I say out of my mouth, even if it's not on paper, it's still my bond. And I think we're in this place, in this space now, where our words don't mean nothing. Our yea is not yea, and our nay is not nay. We say one thing and we do another. And my final thing is this. Someone asked the question about why in the world is the church, what happened from 1980 to 2019? I blame the pastors. The pastors are allowing the musicians to run their churches. The pastors are allowing the musicians to dictate what happens in their churches. The pastors are allowing the price of what a musician charges to go up. We're adjusting to what the market says it ought to be rather than accommodating what our house is able to do. If your house is only able to afford $300 a week, then don't try to pay $500. Stick to what you have. Amen. And it's their obligation to say, I'm gonna play for that, or I'm not going to play for that. And my thing is, I don't have no problem with that. If you can't play for me for $300, fine, go ahead. Because the other thing is this: if another opportunity comes up, I already know you're gonna leave for that other opportunity. And listen, I ain't mad at you for leaving. Go get your money, because this ministry is not just ministry; it also is vocation. I'm an educated pastor. If another church calls me to another church, I hope my church ain't watching.
Play the organ, son.
Lord
Play
Jesus.
something.
I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.